their
I'm
role.
still taking it as a victory. I kept saying Square Enix, and to be fair, I still think the Eastern side will be going. Hello, everybody, and welcome to WC's here today. I think I'm asleep still. I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, people. We have Francesco and Alessio.
Hello.
Bye. Hi.
Saying bye already. Oh,
Bye.
that's the end of
I
this
like
podcast. Goodbye, everybody. God's sake.
I like that.
The topics today are, unsurprisingly, acquisitions, rumours of acquisitions, and potential acquisitions. I think something to do with streaming as well, but yeah, I think Francesco's just ejaculated.
Yeah, it's because of the acquisitions.
I know.
He's a big fan of acquisitions.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, let's the clear first one. Square Enix West. Yes, the western side of Square Enix. They have been bought. And here is where I get to claim that I have been saying all along the next, it would be Square Enix going next. And despite whatever I may have meant, I am still claiming it as a victory because for months I have been saying Square Enix.
It's a partial victory. It would have been a complete victory if you said they were going to sell the western side for that low. Yeah, for that
I'm
low.
still taking it as a victory. I kept saying Square Enix, and to be fair, I still think the eastern side will be going.
Yeah, well,
And we will be mentioning that
yeah.
shortly, but let's stick with Embracer and buying them. So, 300 million for Square Enix Montreal, Eidos Montreal, and Crystal Dynamics, and certain IPs. Not all of them, not all of the Western ones, but certain ones like Deus Ex, Tomb Raider.
Well, Thief as well. So
Yeah.
and it's
and potentially Gex.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but
Legacy of Kain, please. I don't know. They did not mention that.
I think, to be fair, I imagine Legacy of Kain will be under because that was always an Eidos.
That will make sense given how fantasy is so big now. That would fit very well if they brought it back.
But the ones that Square Enix kept were Just Cause?
Yeah, just the the publishing deals that they have with Western developers, which includes Outriders, and that's that's a bit weird because actually this week we also had the news that basically the game apparently didn't make any profit, and we know this.
A surprise to me.
We know this because People Can Fly basically released their own, financials, and they said that they didn't get any royalties from Square Enix because apparently, the game hasn't turned profitable yet. So that's the reason, and which begs the question: why did the Square Enix sell this? These companies which actually were profitable, although not by much. Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal, they were profitable, just not by much, like 3% or something for Crystal Dynamics, and lower for Eidos Montreal. But they made good games, and especially Tomb Raider, it's still a big IP. Even beyond gaming, we know there have been several movies, of course, and others may still be made, hopefully. It's just weird, and people have said that it's quite the low amount for such experienced developers. And like you said, prized IPs, because Deus Ex, Thief, and Legacy of Kain are definitely IPs with a lot of stories, and even if they haven't been released recently, there's still lots of fun who'd like to play them again if they were made. So I think Square Enix did release their own statement, which kind of explains why they made this choice. And basically, they said that they wanted to invest more into cloud, AI, and blockchain for your pleasure, Chris.
They could have sold the Tomb Raider NFTs, Lara Croft's everywhere. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm going to say, to be fair, she's one of the characters that does sell in that way.
Yeah, that would have made sense. It's just that they wouldn't say they messed up with the. I mean, we messed up with the Avengers, so we're letting them go. I think this.
Well, yeah, that's all it was. The Avengers cost them so much money. They must have lost millions on the Avengers.
Oh yeah, it was. I think it was actually one of the news that came out this week. There was one analyst who said basically Square Enix had lost about 200 million on the Marvel games overall. And that includes Guardians of the Galaxy, sadly enough, because I think that's actually a good game. And it
seems excessive, that 200 million.
Yeah, it does. But I don't know.
No, I don't believe that. Not 200 million. Certainly, they've lost a lot of money, but not 200 million. Maybe 200 million sandwich.
I don't know how much they paid for the licensing though. So that might be a big.
Yeah, the licensing fees. Marketing as well. Marketing, licensing, then development. It all adds up, but it still sold some copies. So they haven't lost 200 million.
Nothing sells enough for Square Enix nowadays.
No. I still remember that with Tomb Raider. Sold like 4.5 million, and it underperformed. Shut up.
Yeah, nothing sells enough.
3.5 million. Was it 3 or 2.5? Between 2.5 and 3.5 million that Sleeping Dogs sold, and that didn't do well enough for them.
No.
And
yeah, I don't know. It seems like they are streamlining themselves, and the idea is that they may be doing so to prepare for a potential sale, and that brings us to the part where Chris may be right in the future.
Always right. I've already been right. Square Enix have been sold. Just one part of them.
Yeah. And so Jeff Grubb came out and said that basically, you might remember a few weeks ago we talked about Sony potentially doing a big acquisition, and he said after Square Enix sold its western part that he had heard about Sony buying Square Enix back then. So maybe, and this is part of the Square Enix way to become leaner and more, add more appeal for Sony or other prospective buyers.
I mean, Jeff Grubb might have they may have been mentioned 2 weeks ago, but I think I'm going to guess possibly about 3 months ago I mentioned that Sony would end up going for Square Enix, and I still think it. I've been saying it for months. It's going to happen because if it doesn't happen, Sony is stupid. And because I'm smart, and that's what I do, I think that's what Sony will do.
Who knows? Maybe Sony would have liked the Western studios.
I don't think so, because I think this is what I said before. The reason why the Western studios wouldn't be that appealing for Sony is they've already got studios that do all that. I mean,
it's still iconic IPs that started on PlayStation, like Tomb Raider. Legacy, okay, they ever bring it back.
I could imagine sort of Tomb Raider being in fitting with Sony. You could have Naughty Dog essentially trying to make a Tomb Raider game, or granted that would just be Uncharted Raider.
Yeah. That was, I think, the main counter argument that they already have a Tomb Raider.
That's what I mean. Sony have already got everything that the West the western side of Square Enix had to offer. Well, they haven't got a Thief game sort of thing, but again, Thief isn't used enough. Again, you could bring them back, but I don't know. I just don't see it.
I think
Whereas,
Deus Ex has more chance to be brought back on than Thief.
yeah, Deus Ex had always had the most chance. Deus Ex and Tomb Raider, they're the biggest brands there. But the eastern side of Square Enix just makes more sense. Again, you're focusing on Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy. Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Very much lost after them too.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Babylon's Fall, but no.
No. That's going away soon, I think.
Forspoken. Well, maybe. I don't know. But seriously, on the Final Fantasy front, there are good news, from Square Enix, right, Francesco?
Yeah. Naoki Yoshida said that the new trailer is coming soon, and that the game is almost well, I don't really speak Japanese that well to know exactly what he said, but reports say that the game is pretty much complete or complete. Well, and this is actually something that was rumored for, I think, a few months after it was announced, that we knew that the game was very far along and almost ready for release. And I think from what he said that I don't know if it is going to release this year, but it could release early next year, like in the first 3 months, February, March.
Oh, that would be surprising for sure. And,
yeah, it would be surprising because, like we talked about the other day, it would be the first Final Fantasy game in decades that would release so shortly after the announcement, and not 5-10 years after the announcement.
Well, that, to be fair, that is because every other Final Fantasy game they've been announcing it. Then they've made about 5 different bloody new engines for each game.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Crystal Engine 2, the Dynamic Engine, the Nova Crystallis engine, the Chocobo engine, the bloody Moogle Crystallis flappy engine. And that's just for one game.
Yeah, well, they've been, to be honest, they've been having issues releasing games on time, Final Fantasy games on time since Sakaguchi left. To be honest,
they've struggled
12,
because they've had crap management.
I don't remember if 10 was delayed that much, but I remember that 12 was delayed a lot, and I think it's somewhat incomplete because the story completely evaporates in the middle of the game. They had issues during that too.
Let's not forget 15 as well. I think it was delayed quite a few times.
Right? Yeah, well, 15 was a miracle that it came out at all, to be honest. Since they made a game, since they managed to make a game in, I don't remember how little time after Nomura messed up everything.
Well, between
with versus 13.
I mean, you can't even really count 14 because it's the MMO. So it was like 7 years between 13 and 15.
That was a long time.
But, I mean, the issue was, they only had 3-4 years between 12 and 13. But the thing with 13 is they wanted to make 13 like, well, the whole Nova Crystallis bloody Fabia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 13. Well, they made 2 sequels to 13, and they're not even that bad, to be honest. They're not even that bad. So
yeah, Lightning.
I think they didn't have much of a direction. They were trying too many things at the same time, and that delayed pretty much everything.
Well, the problem with 13 is just that it was too linear.
Yeah, well, for the 90% of the game,
it was just
then it opens up. It opens up in the final 5 hours, and it's just post-game stuff.
I enjoy. I played it through, and everything, but it was just too linear. I still remember 10 being relatively linear. Well, that 10 was linear, but it was, I don't know, 10 just had that bit more to it, which made me enjoy it more than 13. I suppose because 10 still had that Final Fantasy feel with all the side stuff you could do, bit of Blitzball and everything else.
Yeah. To be honest, the story and the setting were more interesting.
That too.
But seriously, I think this underlines the importance of a good producer like Yoshida, because he can keep the development team focused on what's important instead of maybe chasing wild ideas endlessly. And the result is that you have a game that's on schedule instead of
and good.
Yeah.
Well, Square Enix always did something like that during the PlayStation era. They made so many different things, and it worked back then, but it doesn't always work. Especially now that development time and cost is so much bigger than it used to be.
It definitely hasn't been working lately for them.
Yeah, no. Babylon's fault.
But seriously though, Embracer is embracing lots of companies. So what do you think they'll do next? Because at this point, it feels like they can do anything.
I have no clue. It says you still can go for anybody. Well, they can't go for anybody. It's within a certain price range, and I think they're going to have to start and be more tactical and, well, also a bit more self-sustaining now.
Yeah.
Because, I don't see them. They'll buy a few more small certain devs, whatever, but I don't think they'll be buying too many more massive names.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that they've just bought two really like big AAA developers with a lot of history, and they don't have a lot of that in their portfolio. Like there are some, but others are mostly newer or smaller. So it looks like they are trying to add more. I don't know, a kind of gaming royalty to their like portfolio developers.
Yeah, we shall see. It'd be interesting to see, but I don't know. But I mean, sticking with what we were talking about, Sony. What is it? Is it even a rumor about Warner Brothers, or is it just I don't know?
No, it's it's been rumored that WB Interactive would be for sale for quite some time, actually. Even with now they've become part of Warner Discovery with the merger, and there are still rumors that this gaming part might be sold off.
Yeah.
But it's hard to imagine if they are real or not. Still, well, Factor came out and said it would be smart for Sony to buy WB Interactive. I mean, they have a lot of like IPs and great developers as well. Rocksteady in the realm, Monolith, Avalanche, TT Games. So I don't know if they, it depends, of course, what they are looking for, because I doubt they can afford both Square Enix and WB Interactive at the same time. They will need to choose.
Warner Brothers wouldn't be the buy for me, because reading about it, you just can't guarantee that too much of Warner Brothers is based on IPs that the parent company of Warner Brothers Interactive own, and you can never guarantee that you'll have all those IPs.
Yeah, that's true. They've always made the licensed games, so I guess any buyer would have to negotiate the license alongside with the acquisition.
Yeah.
So get the license for at least good number of years.
Yeah. So I don't know about that. I just don't. If I were buying somebody, I'd get Square Enix before Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's true. Square Enix has their own IPs. That's for sure. So we'll see, but there's a lot of movement around acquisitions, and actually something else that popped up this week is the news that the FTC is not just looking into Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. They are also looking into Sony's deal with Bungie, apparently. Which, yeah, it's much smaller, but still.
Yeah, well, they must just be taking
3
more of an
point.
interest in the games industry now.
Yeah. So we'll have to see if it doesn't become harder and harder to buy big studios for these companies
I
in the
think me
future.
personally, if I were Sony, I'd be hoping the FTC stop the blood.
Yeah. But in other news, we also have heard that the Guillemot family, the founders of Ubisoft, might be willing to partner with an equity firm, basically to acquire more shares and block off any potential hostile takeovers, kind of like they did with Vivendi a few years ago. So it seems like if Guillemot is still interested in retaining independence, at least.
Well, I can imagine, because if anybody takes over Ubisoft, he's got to go. He's brought too many issues to them. And not only that, like Ubisoft are in the current state where, well, nearly every game they bloody make is getting delayed. And some of the games have been delayed that much, it's just madness. Yeah,
true. But well, at least it seems like Skull and Bones might be coming out this year, maybe.
Yeah, but it was meant to come out like
so many years.
I say, it was meant to have come out, and I was like just a child. I think it was going to be like a Sega Mega Drive game. That one was that bloody old. And
did Ubisoft exist during the 16-bit era? I don't remember.
I don't know, actually. It's a good question.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I'm going to have a look though now. I don't know. They're an old company, but yeah.
I remember something, but I'm not sure.
Oh yeah. They were founded in 1986.
Okay.
So yeah, they've been around a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious what their first game was. So their first game was for the Amstrad. Yeah. So
yeah.
To be fair, they only really released games on the a few on the Atari, the Amiga, and then it was just like mostly PC or DOS.
Mm-hmm.
Until finally they released things on the PlayStation and Dreamcast and Game Boys. Huh. There we go. Yeah.
They were delaying games back then too, probably.
Yeah, and we're never gonna see Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, it's not happening.
That's sad.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know. Ubisoft, whatever they do, it's not really. It's one of those things. Wait and see. I couldn't see them wanting to sell to a private equity firm, but if they can partner, and just as long as that firm gets their money back, that's all they'll care about. So I don't know. It's not really that major.
Anyway, to switch to another topic that you love so much, the cloud. It looks like Microsoft is going big, and apparently they're aiming to let you play your full library via the cloud, even if you're not subscribed to Game Pass, which is kind of a change. Because previously they had tied cloud streaming to Game Pass, but now it seems like they want it to be, just separate as well.
And they will do, because it's more inclusive, gets more people there involved in the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah, and they have started already with Fortnite, which is kind of an interesting way, I think, even to play to play Fortnite on iOS, because I think you can play it with like the Edge browser, maybe, and get around Apple's limitations.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that they are apparently working on a larger Xbox Everywhere initiative, which will include things like a streaming stick for TVs and dedicated apps. And apparently, they are working on an app with Samsung. I think they've already said, yeah. That's kind of the latest rumor, that there will be a streaming Xbox Cloud app on Samsung TVs soon.
Good. So. That's a good thing. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's more accessibility for everyone.
I said the issue is still what I've always said it is with cloud. It's just the fact that the infrastructure's not there yet for, the technology finally exists. It's just getting people connected to good internet.
Yeah, I guess there is that. Is there kind of any development with 5G where you live, Chris?
There's 5G for your phones and all that, but like, even then, you're still spotty. It just is what it is. The UK is not too bad behind it, but I'm thinking like America way, and well, to be fair, America, Africa, a big chunk of Asia, South America. The majority of the world population is not connected to a good enough connection for cloud gaming yet.
Right, yeah.
That's the only downfall I can see with it. Same as when Stadia was there. I mean, Stadia had other downfalls like 0 games and 0 support, but yeah.
It's Google. Yeah. It's Google.
Yeah, same as I've always said, cloud gaming is the future, but it's not the future yet. We are the now.
Yeah, but companies are trying to get. It's a bit like Formula One. They're trying to get into pole position before.
That's all it is. It's a land grab. Same as everything. Whenever new technology comes, it's a land grab. The company wants to be the pioneer that strikes gold first, or is the first one to hit that oil well, or whatever you want. Yeah, they want to be the first, so they can make the most money out of it, and that's fair enough. But we'll see. I just don't see cloud being the thing yet. A good couple of, I don't know even how long. I don't know how long. The developed world they'll be able to do the cloud within by 2025 is a decent estimate, but everybody else, how long's a piece of string?
Well, we do know how long it is until the Summer Game Fest, which has been confirmed for Thursday, June 9th. Right.
What's that?
Summer Game Fest. It's Geoff Keighley's
the best thing in the world.
Geoff Keighley's version
the best
of it.
thing in the world.
And yeah, it will be.
I'm washing my hair that day.
There will be multiple hours of announcements, he said.
Yeah, I'm washing my hair that day.
Yeah. World premiere.
Oh.
Come on. Come on. Everyone likes looking at new games or
Yeah, I like new games. I just don't want to. I'm just not supporting Keeley because he's a bit of a knob.
Sorry to Pope. The internet doesn't forget.
I'm not supporting. They're all just. It'll just be a yet more bloody sponsored shite. Never, and it'll all be mostly be game trailers of non-game action, or if it is if they class it as in-game stuff, it's going to be massively scripted bullshit. So, I, my enthusiasm's just gone for when it comes to trailers and such, or any sort of announcements, because they're usually all bullshit.
Well, at least we'll we can watch it in prime time, because for once they are doing an American show at decent hours for the Europeans. So if anyone wants to watch it, they can, instead of just losing sleep.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's one for
something.
Yeah.
Well, we did get something decent last year. I think they showed Elden Ring finally last year. So
yeah, you get rare things.
So
that
something decent might come out.
You get rare things that are actually showing what they are. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. There's some nice stuff coming out, Chris. It's not all bad.
But
yeah, we just want to talk about acquisitions. That's why we're so jaded talking about games.
I think I'm just jaded in general.
Yeah, we just want to talk about acquisitions. That's the
I think I'm just jaded in general. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're old inside. Yeah. But seriously though, what you guys playing?
We're talking about games. I can't believe it. I thought we were going to talk. What have you acquired?
What have I been playing? I can talk about the preview, but can I? I can't even remember when the embargo is. Oh well, I'll not say a massive amount about it. Formula One, there was an early embargo for the Hawaii, Hawaii track, which I'm not
Miami, right?
Miami, that's the one. Yeah, it's just like the new track in the proper Grand Prix. So it's like there's an embargo on that, and I'm not writing two previews. I'm just not just writing about one track because it's one track. I've got better things to do. Like, in fact, no, I haven't. I've not got better things to do. I'm just always busy. But yeah, so Formula One, good, very good. It's Codemasters. EA don't seem to have screwed Codemasters up yet, so positive. Give them time, though.
Actually, it's something that's new in Formula 1 22 is that it has native VR support. So did you try it yet, or
I have not used my VR headset in absolutely ages. I actually forget I've got one. It's like the PS5 and the Switch. I just forget that I've got them.
Chris's PC Master Race only.
So
aren't we all like that?
They've also got other things like hot laps as well, which just nice little features. They've added other features to bring it closer to the real sport. Now, me personally, I don't use those features because I want it to be the video game, not the sport. I don't like watching the sport. The sport bores the shit out of me.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
even though Ferrari is on the rise again, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been a fan of Formula One as a spectator sport because the tracks are too narrow. There's not enough passing. There's just
Yeah, it used to be much better a
Yeah.
lot of
The
years
only
ago.
time, but
In
it
the
was good.
90s, in the 80s.
Yeah, it was good when people like Michael Schumacher were there, where you could see he wasn't even in the best car for a bit, and he was managing to beat people. So yeah. So now it just doesn't interest me as a spectator sport. I'll play it as a racing game. But I'd rather just watch the paint dry than watch Formula One. And other than that, I don't think I've actually been playing anything else. No, I haven't. How about you two?
Francesco.
I have played. It was just a beta, so that didn't have much in it. But I tried Hard West 2, and it is a tactical role-playing game set in the Wild West. There are a lot of games
I remember the
set in the Wild West
original.
lately. Yeah, I never played the original, but I was thinking about getting it because I actually enjoyed my 2 hours with the second game quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that revolutionary game that's going to change the genre too much, because what I've seen so far, it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't really have anything complex about the battle system, but I like the setting. I mean, we have seen this Old West meets zombies, sorcery, and that kind of stuff lately. But I think it's going to be. I think it's going to work well. I don't think they even want to change how tactical role-playing games are played, that kind of stuff.
You don't need
But
to.
I think it's going to. Yeah, they don't need to. It's going to be enjoyable though. Though I have to admit that games like Wasteland 3 had much more complex battle system, because they had those elemental interactions, so it's a little bit more complex. But I think this one is going to be nice too. It's got good pacing in combat because you get back all your AP when you defeat an enemy, so you don't have to wait another turn to act again. So that works well because tactical turn-based tactical role-playing games can drag combat if you start making mistakes.
Yeah.
So I think this one won't, at least not too much.
So it isn't as complex as something like Original Sin 2, basically.
No, it's much more simple because it's really basic. Like you have stuff like ricochet shots, for example, but the game guides you, on how to make them. So it's not that complex. I think they're going more for the feel of the setting and the characters,
the atmosphere
rather than
and everything.
Yeah, rather than trying to make a complex tactical game. I don't think that's what they want. They want to make something that even people that never played them could just go at it and have fun with it. I think it will do. I think it will do well. It's not going to be a massive success, but I think it will do nicely. You can tell they care even from just the first 2 hours. There's some role playing stuff, like different choices, loyalty values for your party members. That's some interesting stuff.
No, but it's definitely true that it's kind of a hot subgenre in terms of setting. I mean, some people on Reddit and other boards even joke that we now have Hard West, Evil West.
Yeah, Weird West. Yeah,
Weird West.
but I don't know about Evil West, but at least Weird West, Weird West, at least it's an action RPG, so that sets them apart a bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, there are many similarities. There are many similarities.
Yeah, so it's basically Old West plus supernatural, like zombies.
You see zombies. Like one of the party members in Old West 2 is a resurrected gunslinger. And he's the only one. There are a lot of these zombies going around, but he's the only one that retained these memories. We don't know why, because it just, like I said, just 2 hours, and it ends pretty quickly. But yeah, I think
It's one that
I
you'll
think
look
it will
forward to
be.
playing when it comes out, though.
Yeah, because
Or
I really
reviewing.
like the setting. Yeah, I really like the setting. So I definitely will.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, then other than that, I'm just playing Monster Hunter World. Just it's going to take me a long time because there's also the expansion stuff, Iceborne, and I'm still in the base game, so I probably won't be done by the time Sunbreak, the expansion to Monster Hunter Rise, comes out. So it's going to take me a long time to go through it.
Mhm. Well, as for me, I've been playing, some more Elder Scrolls Online and some more The Forgotten City, which is getting more interesting. As I mentioned last week, it is a pretty good game. Without spoiling too much, there are lots of twists and spins in the story, and it's a really nice game. If you have Game Pass, you should probably try it. Well, there is some combat as well, but it's pretty basic. It's like you get to shoot some skeletons that come to life, but it's just mostly in a specific section of the game, and otherwise it's just mostly about kind of talking to people, discovering stuff. The cool thing is that I got a golden bow, and basically with this golden bow I can turn things into gold, and that creates like pathways that weren't there before. So yeah, it's pretty nice. From such a small team, uh, definitely something that speaks to their creativity and skill, and they're probably going to make some even better stuff in the future if they have a bigger budget, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, that would be. Well, it's always good to see new developers anyway before they get bought up by somebody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, there will always be independent developers. I think the dev community, it's just huge these days. I mean, like everyone can just get Unreal Engine 5 now and download it, and they can make a game, and only eventually they will have to pay Epic a fee.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty great on that count. So yeah, the gaming market, by the way, has surpassed 200 billion in global revenue for the first time this year, according to Newzoo.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, you've got how much money they spend in China and areas like that on, especially on free to play games.
Yeah.
But something that's also worth noting in the report is that the US has actually overtaken China. That's mostly because of the restrictions they put in place, especially for online games with minors. So that's probably the reason. But yeah, China had overtaken the US like in the mid 20, about 10 years ago, 2010, and now it's the US on top again. Well, at least until China lifts this restrictive policy, but we don't know if and when they will. So, as always with China, it's a big unknown, even for their companies.
We'll never bloody know.
I mean, for instance, even now NetEase Games this week announced they're opening up a new studio in the US. So this, Tencent has been making lots of investments. All of these companies have been trying to expand outside of China for this reason, because they can't say for sure the market will grow considerably in their homeland, so they're investing more outside.
I think the thing though as well is as places like Africa develop more and more and mobile networks expand and everything like that, that's another massive market. India as well. So I mean, there's billions of people still not connected, all ready to, in the eyes of the games industry, probably all ready to spend a buck.
Yeah, well, it's like you said, if and when they can make cloud gaming accessible in those countries, then those who are on top of the game with cloud services, they can really rake in billion on revenue.
Until then, it's your mobile games, your free-to-play games. That's why, I mean, the mobile industry is just massive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the biggest, isn't it? I'm sure mobile gets more money than, consoles or PC games or whatever.
Yeah, it does. It's actually
everyone has a phone.
I know.
It's
It's
big.
Yeah, I think that's everything from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, we will see you all next time. I don't know why I said it like that.
With more acquisition news.
Oh no!
I was going to say that.
Oh no!
The acquisition.
Maybe if I win the Euro Millions, it will be me who acquires somebody. We'll see.
I can be acquired for even as low as $500,000. Let's say. Okay.
You can have a cheese sandwich and a pork pie. That's your best offer. Okay, all. Well, we will see you all next time. Bye.